So anyone who's followed the channel for any length of time at all has heard me talk about the GSX1000 and its unfortunate nature to be underpowered for driving some bigger headphones. So today we're going to talk about how and why the GSX paired with the JDS Atom amp can be a flexible beast setup specifically for gaming. And my goal today is not to sell you on this setup specifically. When I got to making this video, it really broke down kind of like a flowchart. So hopefully what you're gonna take away from this today is a bit better understanding of what your goals might be for your audio setup and how to implement or work with what you already have. And console guys, I'm sorry, this is not gonna be a good option for you today as it's not officially supported by any of the consoles, but you still may learn a thing or two if you stick around. You ready? Let's go! Yo, I'm Brian P. You're watching BadSeed Tech, and today we're talking about the GSX1000 gaming DAC amp from Sennheiser, paired with the Atom headphone amp from JDS Labs. We're actually going to start the conversation with value today because the current pricing on the GSX1000 is $229 USD. I've seen it for as low as $180, but for $229, for that price, you could have a complete MAGNI Modi stack from SCHIIT Audio. The SCHIIT stack does one thing, delivers clean, powerful audio well above its price point. There's no mic in, there's no features. You could also spend markedly less than that and still have a solid stereo audio DAC amp. You had the $99 price tag of the Atom to the GSX, and now you're at like $330 USD. That's a lot. I should add too that you can completely ignore the GSX1200 unless you see it on sale for less. It's the exact same, except they can be chained together for team communication if you're in the same physical location. Otherwise, they're identical. Even with just the base price of the GSX, leaving the Atom out of the equation, what you're paying for is feature set. You're paying for mic in, simulated 7.1, EQ, and communication features like side tone and chat mix. So I'm gonna go feature by feature on this thing today, and I'm gonna play devil's advocate the whole way to help you understand the value of each one of those as it might pertain to you and your needs and help you determine if this is even a good move for you. Starting with the mic in, it's a 3.5 millimeter. It looks like this. It's commonly found on entry-level mod mics and gaming headsets. If you do not need a mic in, if you use an XLR mic, a desktop mic, wireless, or USB mod mic, if you already own an interface, you don't need a mic in. What that means for you is congratulations. You can forever and always ignore any product that identifies as a gaming DAC amp or an external sound card. You can focus purely on getting the best stereo audio DAC amp setup for your money, whether that's a SCHIIT stack, the OL Atom stack, the JDS Element, anything from the FiO series, the K5 Pro, all the way to like something like an iFi Zendac. There are great options at pretty much every budget level. Now, if you do want to utilize the mic in, those of you with headsets you really like, or the ModMic Uni or ModMic 5, you have the ability to use side tone or the ability to hear your own mic back into your own headset lag-free. And after everything I've heard, I've found this to only be true in like 3 scenarios. This one right here, an interface that features zero latency monitoring like a Scarlett or a wireless gaming headset. Whether or not that feature is even important to you is a completely different story. Most people that game in open back headphones find they can hear themselves just fine without it. So again, no mic in necessary, no reason to go GSX, unless you want simulated 7.1. This topic gets people a little tight, and I've gone through a ton of different variants and examples of simulated 7.1, and I'll say this, with modern game engines, using this causes more issues than not. Running simulated 7.1 in Valorant or Apex or Modern Warfare will not improve your experience and will hurt it in most cases. In other games, open world stuff like Witcher or Far Cry, it can add to the experience just by making the world feel a little bigger. Sennheiser's algo pretty much beats everything out there, including the THX found on Razer stuff. It's not all good though, as to use the drivers properly, you have to have this unit set to 16-bit sound in Windows. That's something people miss when they plug this in. You have to set the driver to 7.1 in Windows, and that requires the unit to be in a 16-bit mode. If you don't do this, physically toggling this on the unit itself is not adding anything at all. If simulated 7.1 or surround is a primary selling point for you for the GSX, like you don't need that mic in, but you're just intrigued by that 7.1, don't be. Skip the GSX. If you're playing anything competitive, I think it's gonna do more harm than good. And as time goes on, my best advice leans further and further into skipping any form of simulated 7.1, regardless of what you play, and focusing on a quality stereo setup. I'm not here to tell you how to enjoy your games. I'm just here to tell you don't be snowed by that marketing. Next up is quick on-the-fly EQ. You get flat in 3 different modes here. They all sound different with different stuff, and it's really easy to toggle between them to find the one that sounds best for you without having to tab out of your game. The reason I even point this out is that some people, when moving away from a gaming product that has software into an audio-only DAC amp, people are sometimes a bit lost that there is no EQ or bass boost or footstep mode or scout mode or whatever. There are software options like equalizer APO, but these can cause conflicts with other audio drivers, and in general, my best advice for your rig is to install as few pieces of extra software as possible, regardless of what they are. So this just leaves chat mix, which I enjoy. This creates 2 different drivers for audio out, one high quality for main audio and one low tier quality for comms output only. It works like this. Your main Windows audio or your game audio is set as your main device, and Discord is assigned to your secondary device. Now, using this wheel, you can balance the amount of main audio you hear versus the squad audio from your Discord on the fly without toggling back and forth. Setting your main Windows audio or your game audio to the comms driver is the #1 reason people get this, plug it in, and go, this sounds terrible. Having your chat mix dial set all the way to one side is the #1 reason why people can't figure out why they can't hear any chat audio at all from Discord, or why they can't hear any game audio and can only hear chat. So the last important thing to touch on here are the audio quality modes. So as I said, for the 7.1 to work, it has to run in 16-bit. If you have no plans to use 7.1 and you just want EQ and comms, you can run up to 24-bit 48 kilohertz. If you want to listen at 24 96 kilohertz, or what you commonly see marketed as HD audio, you lose all controls except volume, and it goes into 2.0 HD mode. This allows you to listen at the highest quality this unit can reproduce and bypasses all the internal hardware stuff. So if any combination of those features feels wasted to you, or you don't buy into them enough to support the price tag, or you already have your mic angle sorted, the GSX is not for you. Find yourself a nice DAC amp stack instead. But if any combination of those features seems solid to you and you're using a gaming headset like the PC37X or a drop Sennheiser HD58X with a ModMic 5, you can stop right there and be done, and you have a solid mix of gaming features and an HD mode where you can do some more critical music listening. The GSX with the HD58X and a ModMic Uni, or better, a ModMic 5 if you can still find one, is a respectable setup that covers a lot of bases, and the majority of you as gamers would probably never need more. On the other hand, if all that sounds good to you and you already know you're the kind of person that's going to want to experiment with some more demanding headphones, something with higher ohms or like planar magnetics, which I highly recommend, you're going to need some more juice, and that's where the Atom comes in. Now, arguably, you could use a MAGNI 3 here or something similar, but I think the Atom's the better choice. In my opinion, it's a better looking stack aesthetically, but objectively, it's better because it offers a 3.5mm input for the GSX, and that leaves a set of RCA inputs available if you'd like to add a higher end DAC specifically for music later down the road. The Atom also has those RCA outs as well, so you can pass through to something like a tube amp if you just want to experiment with the sound. Connecting and using the GSX and the Atom together is as easy as connecting the headphone output of the GSX to the 3.5mm input of the Atom with an aux cable. That's it. Then you can set your power level on the Atom and still use the volume wheel of the GSX to control your main volume. This setup allows you to move past something like the HD58X and play with stuff like the K7XX, planars like the 4XX or the Sundara, the Aeon Open X, or like the DT1990. All these are possible. The reason why you may want to add a separate DAC down the road if you find yourself sliding down the audio rabbit hole to that extent is because it's going to be cleaner than coming off the headphone output of the GSX, and outboard DACs have higher bit rates, usually offering up 32-bit 192, no problem. But remember, the GSX and the Atom together are costing you over $330 USD. So let's walk that back to reality a bit. If you already own a GSX and you just want to push it to the next level, add the Atom. Easy. If you don't really have an audio setup yet, if you're starting from scratch, my best advice would be to get a USB or a wireless headset mic, or if you're going to be streaming, do like an XLR and then either an interface or like a USB mixer and get a DAC amp. You're going to be missing out on features, but you're going to be saving $100 or so on the setup, and the audio quality is going to be better. If you really want surround sound, especially if you watch movies a lot, Dolby Atmos headphone for Windows is very solid. If you have the HD58X and no desire to move past it as a headphone, or you want to strategically stop yourself from moving past it to save your wallet, there is nothing out there with the feature set of the GSX1000. And you'll find with audio, for gaming, the point of diminishing returns comes way sooner than music listening. Hopefully that was valuable information for you today, and hopefully you're starting to get a more clear picture of what's going to be important for you in your audio goals without completely destroying your wallet. I will still probably start condensing this information into a flowchart, as I really think that makes the most sense, and this video kind of flowed that way anyway. As always, links down below for everything we talked about today. Any questions, drop by the Discord. And that's it for this time. I'm Brian P. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that sub button, and until next time, stay up. I should probably go find something to crouch down in front of for the gram.